Hey friends, welcome back to another exciting video here with a super special guest. Her name is Rachna Clavero. She's the CEO and president of the CANDU Owners Group, COG. And so I'm very excited for this conversation. Rachna, welcome. Also about COG. What is COG? What is the CANDU Owners Group?
The CANDU technology, as you know, it's our own homegrown Canadian technology, provides clean energy around the world. And so CANDU Owners Group was actually formed 40 years ago. So we're celebrating our 40th anniversary. It's a big year for us. The genesis of it was an issue that happened at the Pickering station. And a lot of people don't realize that that was the history. It was an incident which caused a bit of a crack in a pressure tube, and they needed to investigate it. The utilities needed to come together and investigate what was the issue. And when they came out of that, they realized that there was such a good collaboration between the utilities around doing that problem solving that there would be a continuous need for some kind of a research division. And so they came together. It was AECL, Ontario Hydro, New Brunswick Power, and Hydro-Quebec, who at the time had a CANDU reactor in operation as well. The four of them came together and founded what is today CANDU Owners Group. So we developed an R&D program. Over the years, we also now do a number of benchmarking best practices peer groups. So this is where the utility members, and by the way, it's not just domestic. We have a number of global partners. So CANDU technologies in 7 countries around the world. With every sale of a CANDU, they signed on to become a CANDU Owners Group member. And so, they've all come together. We do learning and development, so training sessions, leadership training. We also do regulatory affairs, so we help them come together with common positions. But really, at the heart of it, it's about collaboration. Getting a high return on investment by pooling your money and solving these big, multi-party, complex issues. And that's really what COG is about.
That's phenomenal. It's great overview. When it comes to CANDU reactors, I know some folks in the audience may get thrown back by CANDU versus PWR versus BWR. How different are these reactor types, and why is the role of COG so relevant?
They are different, but ultimately they are all producing energy. So the back end of most of these designs is the same. So how they actually, produce the electricity using a turbine is the same. The difference is actually the structure and the design of what we call the core, so the center of these reactors. And they all use fission, nuclear fission, to actually create their energy. A PWR is a pressurized water reactor. It uses light water. A BWR is a boiling water reactor. You can kind of think of a pressure cooker as an example. A CANDU reactor is something called a pressurized heavy water reactor. And so it uses heavy water, so that's D2O, hence the name, deuterium, a Canadian deuterium uranium. It uses natural uranium, so that is a real advantage. It cannot be weaponized, it's not enriched, and it also has a number of features in it. So instead of one big pressure vessel, it's actually a number of small channels that are pressurized. This gives a lot of flexibility to the design. So you can do something called online and on-power refueling. And so that allows you to, instead of having to shut down the entire reactor, to do a fuel change, you can actually do it for specific channels. Actually, one of the earliest tools developed by CANDU Owners Group was the single fuel channel replacement tool. And so that tool, again, as it says, it allows you to just change one channel. So if there are defects or any kind of issues detected, you don't have to shut down the entire reactor. You can actually just pull it out. So the technology differences, it's about many things in terms of, we call it capacity factor. The CANDU reactors are definitely well known around the world because they have a high capacity factor, which means essentially you can get more energy out of the amount of fuel you put in.
Great overview of the CANDU. When you look at CANDU reactors or reactors in general, they're running and there's regular ongoing maintenance. But some might ask, what is the relevance of R&D? Why do you need to do research and development for technology that's already built, is operating for 30 years? What's the R&D all about?
So it's about continuous improvement. In the end, it's about continuous improvement. But R&D is always going to be needed. When you operate anything that's of that size, any kind of machinery, anything that is really of that large infrastructure size, over time there are changes to the components. You may have aging management issues in your materials. There are certain things that are part of the design life. So one example, when the CANDU reactors were originally designed, their design life was 25 years, meaning that the people who designed it looked at it and said, it can probably go out 25 years. We learned very quickly that these assets are very valuable, and we started doing tests and R&Ds 15 years ago to look at whether these channels could run out longer. And that was the benefit. So we ended up getting another 10 to 15 years of operations out of each of our units. And so, Bruce Power is going through refurbishment, but they've managed to run their reactors longer, and they plan to run them even longer. And same thing with Darlington Station. Essentially, this is money back in the pockets of the ratepayers, right? These are assets they didn't have to rebuild. These are assets that exist. And we were able to just run them out longer. So with every year they ran out longer, it was a savings to the people, and it was clean energy. It was a great mix. So this is the power of R&D, right? You would never be able to have done that if there wasn't a program through COG to allow you to do that R&D. Other examples are, as I mentioned, the tooling. So, as the industry advances, tools change. Today, we're in an environment where you have artificial intelligence, you have robotics. We want to use those tools. We want to use those innovations to the advantage of the reactor. How can we upgrade, make modifications to bring in and modernize these reactors? And then they're going to be operating for another 40 years. We've just refurbished. So think about where this world is going to be in 40 years. And that's the role of R&D.
It blows me away sometimes, like the scope of this research and development, because when you think of technologies like iPhone or almost like disposable asset, like just disposable, right? Like 2 years and it's done. But then the lifetime of these reactors, it's like critical infrastructure. If you extend it by 5 or 10 years, that's like billions of dollars injected into the economy. So tell me a bit about that collaboration from an international perspective. That's very unique, especially from a Canadian lens, right? Like having or an organization like COG collaborate internationally. How does that work?
So it is unique. I do want to say, CANDU is the only technology that is licensed in that many countries in the world. There are some other technologies in maybe 2 countries, 3 countries, but 7 different countries, it's unique. And so it speaks to the power of what Canada was able to do on the international level in terms of building those partnerships and the relationships. And the CANDU owners work together. So the international fleet, we do have a forum where we they all come together. But I'll give an example. So recently, Romania, they are embarking upon building 2 more CANDU units, and they're going to refurbish the 2 existing units they have at the site. So with that, they realized they needed to resource up quickly, but they also wanted to leverage the experience that Ontario has had in refurbishments because of the success we've had. And so what did they start doing? They worked through COG and they sent people here. They have had secondments here. They're really thinking differently, right? How do they job shadow? How do they get inside the reactor during the refurbishments we're executing here? That's the kind of partnership we've built. This is Canadian technology. It is being exported around the world. And it's not just about that one-time sale. We are consistently, over the 40 years, have been offering services to these industries. So this is money that is coming right into the Canadian supply chain. It's supporting the academic facilities. It's supporting R&D. And as I said, this is a collective R&D program. So, the other CANDU owners, international ones, are putting money in and they are getting work done together. So it's a very powerful model. It's actually also unique to Canada. It's the only technology where Canada has managed to reach this many countries on an international level. So it builds relationships with these countries in a way we could have never done without this technology.
At COP, where we last met, the announcement that was made of tripling global nuclear capacity. And so, my question for you is, from a COG perspective, I guess, are you excited for potential increases in CANDU capacity across the world?
So it's a great announcement. I mean, of course, I'm excited. It's fabulous for the entire industry. This commitment, and Canada was one of 24 countries stepped up and committed that we will triple nuclear power by 2050. But when you really think of the volume that like, what does that mean? It means an immense growth for this industry. And we were, in the past, we built 20 CANDUs in 20 years, right? Like, it was quick what we did and what we accomplished. And so we can do it. We've got better tools today than we had back then. We've got technology that's advanced much more. So we can do this. I think, though, on that global level, I've never seen this kind of support for nuclear. So it really is it's a different kind of public support for this recognition that it's clean energy. But in addition to that, I do want to touch on so CANDUs definitely have a future, right? As I mentioned, 40 years just through the refurbishment, but there is also a new design underway right now through Atkins Realis. They're looking at kind of the next evolution of the CANDU reactor. But in addition to that, we are now embarking upon deploying other technologies, right? So we're looking at how can we bring power to remote communities? How can we bring electricity to some of the industrial sector? And so with that, and in Ontario, we have committed to developing and deploying new SMRs that are attached to the grid. So these are the 300 size BWRX 300 G attached technology. Similarly, out in Saskatchewan, so a province that has never had nuclear power other than research, they have now, signed agreements and made a commitment to also look at the G-Attache, but in addition to that, to look at micro reactors, the eVinci battery. Saskatchewan Research Council plans to do that. So, it's not just about deploying kind of new large scale. We are really looking at the whole picture. What can nuclear do to decarbonize?
Is COG looking to expand its reach into supporting other technologies as well, or will it remain just fixed on CANDU fleets specifically?
Supporting CANDU technology is definitely still our top priority, right? That was why we were, founded. We are a member-driven organization, not for profit, and everything we do is for our utility members and the CANDU Owners members. But in 2018, our mandate was expanded. So in 2018, our mandate was officially expanded to look at CANDU and advanced technologies. And that was when we created the SMR program. So when you look at, it's funny, we're called the CANDU Owners Group. People hear the CANDU, but I always tell them, well, you have to attach the owners there. So CANDU owners. So we do what the CANDU owners want us to do. And if you look at all of the owners, OPG, Bruce Power, New Brunswick Power, CNL, Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, and I mentioned Romania earlier, Korea, China, Argentina. They are all exploring SMR technology. They are all looking at other options. They're looking at micromodular reactors. And so with that, they came to COG and they said, we want to leverage the collaboration model and we want to benefit from it to help advance other technologies. And so our mandate was expanded. This is a year, I would say, of transformation for us. And we've been, definitely expanding and broadening over the years. But this is our 40th anniversary. And so with that, we are starting to explore our brand and better assess and identify whether we are, what our name is, what our branding is, whether it makes sense for where the company's headed. And so, we'll roll that out later this year, but a big exercise, I think, on the company's part.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the future of the COG brand. So, as the recently announced president and CEO, what's your vision for COG?
So I always talk about three pillars, right? And as I mentioned, CANDU will always be our bread and butter. and supporting excellence in CANDU. So that first pillar is always sustainability. So sustainability of this existing industry, ensuring that the existing fleet is successful. It's being refurbished. Internationally, they will start refurbishment on CANDUs. So this technology is here for 40 to 60 years. So it's about ensuring that we are set up to bring innovations into the existing fleet. That is a primary part of our vision. The second pillar is growth. So, ensuring that we are set up to quickly, grow and offer services and resources to our industry that they need. There's a big push to bring, the next generation in to make sure that we have resources, capability in the industry. So with that, we've been expanding our learning and development programs. We've been definitely supporting non-CANDU technology in the learning and development space as well. And so we'll continue to broaden that. Recently, actually, WANO came to us to start supporting leadership development and training within their WANO centers as well, it's a big step for us. And then the third pillar is the people. What makes CANDU Owners Group unique is that when we run our peer groups, when we have our discussions with the technical committees on R&D, the people that we hire are experts in their field. Sometimes we've got people who have had 40 years in the industry, and they bring that expertise to facilitate the conversation. And that's really what our members are paying for. Yes, we're a strong project management team. Yes, we have strong IP and procurement background. We understand how to deal with, multi-party IP. We also understand export controls. But at the heart of it, it's the technical expertise that our team brings. And so I would say that's a pillar that I want to continue to grow. And I want to make sure that when people look at COG, they realize this is a company with a broad reach that will be a benefit to them and will help bring fulfillment to their career.
Great to see that you value that technical expertise and your vision for COG. And so, like, right now we're at the CNA Conference, the Canadian Nuclear Association Conference. It's held by the Canadian Nuclear Association. It does a really good job at bringing all the leaders in the nuclear energy industry, advocates, nuclear enthusiasts, all together in one area. And so, tell us a little bit about what you're doing here with COG at the CNA. How's your time so far?
It's busy. This is a phenomenal conference this year. I really do want to give CNA kudos because this conference, it's always a good conference, but you can see that over the years, they have really made the effort to continue to expand. 1,000, registrants this year, which is a great number. And I believe next year they're going to move to an even larger venue just to accommodate. But this is a very important conference for us. All of our members are here. We have a supplier participant program, and all of our suppliers are here. The students are here. The future leaders of this industry are here. So for us, our role, we're definitely honored when we get an opportunity to speak and to talk about the collaboration model and what we do. But our role is really to make sure that we're helping to connect the dots, making sure people are talking to the right people, building those relationships, and we really see ourselves as that link. And so that's why we're here. We're always happy to tell people more about what CANDU Owners Group does. And, we want to understand what the supply chain has to offer. So we're privileged to work with over 40 suppliers, but we want to know, who are the new entrants? What is the capability they have? And you can get that here. You can just walk around this room and, in the trade show itself, you will get to really have those one-on-one conversations and learn what is it that the different suppliers bring. Because, this industry's flourishing, it's growing. And so with that, it's not just about, what the CANDU owners and operators want to do. It's about what the supply chain will bring to it.
One hot topic that's out nowadays is Pickering refurbishment, right? So 4 units, Pickering B, are set to be refurbished, and so the green light's been given for reactors that are going to power the whole Greater Toronto region, right? And so, what are your thoughts on this new announcement?
So, it's excellent. We weren't in this place, even 10 years ago. So it's wonderful that this is. So let me just talk about Pickering for a second. This is one of our earliest commercial reactors, 40 years in operation. And after 40 years, they just achieved 1.0 excellence.
Yeah.
How many other industries can you say are out there where a machine that is 40 years old can be performing at its top performance? Like, that's really a testament to the technology, right? And I think this decision, obviously they had to do a business case, they had to look at the numbers, but it's that increase in performance out of Pickering that has really made the business case viable. So, the refurbishment itself, the announcement, that confidence in the technology, it's a wonderful announcement. Will it be an easy thing to do? No, but you know what? Will there be technical hurdles? Our industry can do it. Our industry can do this refurbishment. And I think it's exciting to see that this is going to be clean energy, and it's going to help us move to the transition, which is, new SMRs at Darlington, which is potential new builds up at Bruce site, maybe elsewhere within Canada. So, it's excellent to see that we can get this much life out of these assets, because they were, these are things that have been providing clean, cheap electricity in Ontario.
That's phenomenal. And what's COG's role going to be in this new refurbishment project?
So, it's a good question. So, definitely Ontario Power Generation is one of our biggest clients, and our member. I think, we'll be talking to them about kind of what is the work that they need done. They have already sent some things to COG to do some research and development. It's really about the industry coming together and, working on what are some of the things that we've already done in refurbishment space that can then be leveraged by Pickering, and are there new things? There are some slight design changes between these different stations within Ontario, and so we'll have to look at kind of, are there some studies that need to be done? How can we move forward on that refurbishment? So I would say that we'll continue to provide some of those key services that we already do.
I guess this has been a really good chat, Rachna. I really enjoyed this discussion, hearing about COG and CANDU Owners Group. And so, is there a last message that you'd like to leave with the audience?
So I love these podcasts, by the way, Osama. I think you do a great job. And I think the message I would leave with the audience is, we are a growing industry. We need resources. It doesn't have to be people with technical knowledge and nuclear, really, we need every skill set out there. So I would encourage people to reach out to the utilities, reach out to the suppliers and students to really, come to these kind of events, right? The CNA is a great event. Come here, talk to the right people, because we're growing at a rapid pace and we have a lot to offer. I have never turned around. Once I came into the nuclear industry, I've never turned around. I believe in this technology. I believe in this energy, and what we provide. And this is cutting edge work that we do here. So I think that would be my message is, there's so much to offer in the nuclear industry. Just come, we'll take care of you.
It's phenomenal. I love the message, the inspirational message. I think it really motivates young people like me. All right, it really does. And so in the description below, you'll be able to find more information about COG, the website, as well as Rachna's contact, in case you're interested in reaching out to her or someone from her team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Osama.
Great.